What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed week 6. We are on to week 7. We're not going to waste any time on this episode. We're going to have a little shortened episode of the podcast. Hopefully, we stay on track and everything goes well. We have 4 topics on hand, and they all pertain to a specific game we're going to play that's based off of John's card game, Deceiver. Now, we're going to leave a link in the bio to go buy it on Amazon. But the basic game is you're trying to figure out who's fake, who's lying, who's not who they say they are. And in terms of this game that we're going to be playing, we're going to be looking at NFL teams. The Giants, the Jets, the Vikings, and the Eagles. Surprisingly, the undefeated Eagles are actually our first team.
Feeling good.
So we're just going to ask the question, are they the truth? Are they what they say their record is? Or are they hiding behind that record, that really good record? Maybe they just had some easy games scheduled. Maybe they got a cakewalk into a 5-1, a 6-0 record. So that's what we're here to talk about today. The first team, as I said before, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now they have just steamrolled everybody. 6-0, their best wins against the Vikings, who are 5-1, and the Cowboys, who are 4-2. Now, in my personal opinion, we may not even have to debate this, but I think they're the truth and they are who they say they are. And I feel like there's nothing more to say. Does anybody disagree and say that they are the deceiver and ruin Caleb's day?
I disagree. They're a deceiver.
Don't do that,
Jonathan. No.
They are a deceiver.
Please tell me why.
Jonathan, pull your mic back just a tiny bit. There you go. You're a little loud. All right, you can continue.
You want to hear his take better for against the Eagles? What's going on?
Is this good,
yeah,
Jared?
That's good.
Okay,
it's not good.
Yeah. So they are the deceiver. Let me tell you why. Number one, Jared, you just said it yourself. The best teams they've beat are the Vikings and the Cowboys, 5-1 each. Okay. Who else have they played? The Lions. All right. They suck defensively. The Commanders, quarterback. That's what Ron Rivera said.
All right.
Jaguars, all right, Cardinals have been struggling without D-Hop. So people are saying, oh, Eagles are the best team in the NFL, 6-0. Who have you played? Fine, you beat the Cowboys, you got lucky, but guess what? The Eagles fans are
the Cowboys a good team to you, Jonathan?
The Cowboys are good. We have a good defense, but guess what? Our backup quarterback.
Oh, now it's...
See what I'm saying? People
now it's the backup. I thought he wanted to be a starter.
I mean, congrats, Jalen Hurts. You beat Cooper Rush, the backup quarterback. But wait till we get Dak back.
What? Eagles won a Super Bowl with the backup.
Cowboys.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles won Super Bowl with the backup. That was good. But hey, this is different. Cooper Rush is no Nick Foles. He didn't have much turnovers when he started for us. These past 2 games, the Eagles game is when he really went down in terms of turnovers. Eagles have a great defense. You got to give them credit. They have a good all-around team, but the thing is, they haven't played anybody. So people need to calm down. Stop putting them like number 1, number 2 in the top NFL power rankings. That's annoying. They haven't played anybody.
All right.
So they're deceiver, and I love that they beat the Cowboys. I love it so much. Beat us now. That way, later in the season, we can beat you. Even when it comes playoff time, we can beat you. I want them to get a little big-headed in the beginning of the season thinking they're actually good, even though they haven't played anybody. Wow. Cowboys are coming. So I think Eagles are a deceiver. I wish them well, but they're just going to fall downhill from now. They haven't played anybody.
We all cope in our different ways to struggles, Jonathan. So I understand this is how we cope. I don't... No, I take it week by week. It is hugely beneficial as an Eagles fan to see them 6-0. It warms my heart, brings me joy just to think about it. Having a bad day, I'm like, oh yeah, like we earned it. We go week by week, and I think it's this will come twofold. And I'm not gonna go dig into your take, Jonathan. I respect the Cowboys. I think you guys are a good team. I think what the Eagles did is testament to the coaching style of how Cooper Rush really didn't have a lot of turnovers, and whatever the Eagles were doing defensively was causing a lot of mistakes, and then was also causing a lot of frustration for the Cowboys defense. I think you saw, was it Diggs who threw his helmet down? And those games always get real intense between the Cowboys and Eagles. But Micah Parsons, they were like, I think commentators were saying, like, they're not even blocking him. They're just letting him do whatever, and then we adjust accordingly. So that was really frustrating to not see I mean, they are a great defense, but they're able to diffuse that because the Eagles are so well-rounded. I think they're one of the most. I think I'd compete. I'd put them. I'm biased, but I'd put them up with the Bills in terms of how well they can do both. I mean, the Bills don't have as much running capability, but they're good still. But that opens up RPO. It opens up a lot, to make it really hard for defenses to stay open. And they're not hugely dependent on the big plays, so they'll let. And I'm not, there's balance there. I will say for you guys to consider. This is for all the teams, but I looked it up. This is where I will say you have some point of saying like maybe we haven't played as many good teams. I think the Lions we talked about a few weeks ago are one of the most offensive. Like they're leading this league in offensive scoring or something. Like their defense sucks, but they're good. I wouldn't count up. And none of these teams that we played, I would say, are bottom of the barrel. Maybe Jaguars are still they're in a rebuild clearly, but I will say
quarterback.
Okay, well and the Commanders, yeah, fair enough. But all right, for the CBS Sports ranking for Week 7, Eagles are number 1, Bills are 2, the Vikings, who the Eagles played, are currently at 3, and then the Cowboys are at 6. And if you're curious about
they
4,
just go by record, I think.
Well,
because that's clearly not true.
No,
Bills are definitely better.
This is CBS Sports. This is one source. They had the Chiefs at 4 and then Giants at 5.
Yeah, exactly. Are they crazy? How could the Giants be at 5?
They just go strictly based off of record.
They just go.
No, it's not, because the Chiefs are 4-2 at 4, and the Giants are 5-1 at 5. So
they felt bad putting the Chiefs low. They're like, oh wow, we'd be really stupid.
What is interesting though, I forget where it was in that same. I think it was that same CBS article about the power rankings. Is that there is, and this doesn't reflect on the Eagles. More kind of throwing it to you guys. I think you might have seen that Tom Brady had a headline of that there's a lot of mediocre football being played. This isn't directed towards the Eagles or anyone, but just in general, and it's reflected in this article. I think by Pete Prisco of CBS Sports, where I got the power ranking thing, and it's we have 10 teams with winning records, 10 with 3-3 records, and 12 with losing records. So there's a lot of diversity in like
parity,
mediocre range, and I think there was a thing on a Colin Cowherd show where like average wise, there is less touchdowns being scored in the NFL. So either the offenses have gotten worse, or the defenses. And I think the comments were saying this. He alluded to it too. There's a lot going on. I think defenses aren't letting teams get the big play anymore. So they'll do 2-man up, 2 safeties high, and let you do check downs until the end zone. Then you have to kind of beat them on scheme, on being the smarter guy. So they're just letting you get big yards, So it's good for stat padding, but
I mean that kind of parlays into the Giants, because a team like the Giants, they figured out a little bit of their offensive plays, and they're a little bit better than last year, but it's not substantial. You look at teams like the Colts, the Broncos. Who else? I mean, the Bucks are not scoring a lot of points. The Packers not scoring a lot of points. It's just a weird year for that. And I think teams like the Giants, who we're going to talk about next, that's why they're thriving, because they've always had a good defense. But the offense, as far as like Kansas City or the Bills, is just way too much for them. But now everyone's kind of coming back to earth, and now defense is more valued this year, at least in the first 6 games we've seen. For the Giants, let's talk to them. They are 5-1. Their best wins: the Ravens 3-2, Titans 3-2, and Packers 3-2. And granted, the Packers was that game was in London. The Giants, are they the deceiver? Can I just get a little quick round table? We'll start with John, then Caleb, and Jonathan. Just tell me if they're the deceiver or not.
No, the Giants are not the deceiver.
No, the Giants are not the deceiver.
Ooh.
No, they're not, but, and then I'll elaborate later. So no, but.
I also say, wait, Caleb, what'd you say?
I say they're not the deceiver, as long as they have Barkley.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
exactly.
my only caveat. And we've known
as long as they have Barkley.
I'm happy to see him healthy and thriving, but if he gets injured, then I think they'll be exposed. But if he's there, yeah.
Right on that dot.
Wait, I want to change my answer for the Eagles. Yes, but only if they have Hurts.
No. We've had success with backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, true.
The way Brian Dabble on Giants is running that offense, he's not gonna cause many issues.
Yeah.
He's legit. Okay,
Yeah,
this
he
guy's
is.
legit. So
I
the
like
only thing that can go wrong is if somebody gets injured.
Yeah.
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 Like what Caleb said.
I disagree with all of you, even though
Really?
I've advocated for the Giants more than anybody, even more than the Giants fan across from me.
You just picked them last week and I didn't, and now
Exactly.
you're saying I'm the deceiver and I'm not.
The duality of man.
With doing a lot of research with the Giants and, backing that pick, I've come to the conclusion that they are the deceiver of this year. They are the team that is hiding behind their 5-1 record, and it's a what do they call it? A house of cards. Just wait one wrong move, everything falls down. You see a downslide of 5 losses straight, 4 losses straight, just
Dang.
collapsing down. And I'll tell you why.
Tell us why.
And let me tell you, they're not making the playoffs for sure. For sure,
you
not
were
making
gonna-
the playoffs.
okay, wait,
They're already
Be
5-1.
careful
They
now.
might not
Let
win.
me
the
tell you.
division.
Let me tell you something.
Okay. Sorry. You.
I'll go relatively quick. But their division that they're in, they have the 3rd best offense and the 3rd best defense. Their turnover differential is 10 less than the Eagles. The Eagles have plus 12 turnover differential. The Giants have plus 2. If you're going to make upset wins like that, you're going to need more turnovers. They just had their first interception last week. This whole team relies on Saquon Barkley and nobody else. And we've seen that he's able to carry the team through all these wins. But how sustainable is that for a 16-game season? That I don't know. You look at the Cowboys, they're getting Dak back. The Eagles have Jalen Hurts. Now even quarterback, Daniel Jones is the 3rd best. Their receivers, definitely not the best. Obviously, running back is the only place where they have a leg up on the Cowboys and the Eagles. So as far as playing the Cowboys, they've already lost to them. I think they lose to them again when they face them. And then the Eagles, they have to play twice. I think they lose both of those games. And now you're looking at 3 losses added on to maybe a couple more in their schedule. And now all of a sudden you're looking at, average record, and it's not as impressive anymore. And so a lot of things they're doing right. They're just not beating themselves. They're not turning the ball over. They're efficient in the red zone, but they are 13th in penalty yards. They aren't as disciplined as some other teams. And when you look at the division, like I said before, they don't have a leg up on the Eagles. They don't have a leg up on the Cowboys. And it's just obvious and it's glaring when you look at all the stats. So, yeah.
Oh boy,
Hey.
are you gonna regret this? You're gonna look back on this in like 10 weeks and just you're gonna be sorry
You've
that
been
you said that.
hating on the Giants all
The
year.
the Giants are gonna make the playoffs. And one thing I wanted to mention during the Eagles that we just talked about is, for some reason, you know how the NFL goes through those like schedule cycles. So like you play like certain divisions and then the next year you change and play different divisions. So in the AFC, you won't, if you're in the NFC, you won't play an AFC team, a certain AFC team for 4 years. So it just so happened that the last couple years, remember like last year, 2 years ago, it was called the NFC least because part of it was because we were playing so many good teams. It just so happens that this year, our division is playing bad teams. And yes, maybe we do get a little bit lucky with that, but I'll take the luck. And the Giants are going to make the playoffs because of that. Look at all the teams that both the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants are all playing this season. Like the Panthers, like the Jaguars. We all get to play the Jaguars. We all get to play the Bears. Like we all get to play the Lions. We all get to play the Colts. Like these teams that aren't doing too well. So like the schedule moving forward, we have Jaguars, Seahawks is beatable, Texans, Lions, Commanders twice, the Colts. That's all winnable games. We could win at least half of them. All we have to do is go be above 500 and we'll make the playoffs in the NFC. Like the NFC is not nearly as good as the AFC. So we're definitely going to make the playoffs and we're definitely not the deceiver.
Yeah, and you've heard me say this before, all you guys. The race is not won by the swift. Yes, the Giants don't have the best resources in terms of the NFC East, but they kind of keep me up at night because these past few games show you that they can compete with anybody. The Packers, the Ravens, I mean, they can easily beat the Cowboys and the Eagles in the next meeting.
Yeah, anything could happen.
That's true. And I was going back to the Eagles, going to the Giants. I will say I talked about the power rankings, but we might have mentioned it in one of the earlier podcasts, but at the start of this year, before, based on what they can evaluate for the easiest and hardest schedules, the 5 easiest schedules from, I mean, the first two are tied, but Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, and Lions for the easiest schedule before the season started, before we knew what they were looking at, just based on what they were trying, based on away. The 5 hardest schedules were the Rams at number one, Cardinals, Bengals, Buccaneers, and then the 49ers and Chiefs. So I just adding a little credence to the fact that of what you were saying, John. But then I'd add too, and as in, it is, I know I'm biased as an Eagles fan, but to go 5-1 in the NFL, 6-0 in the NFL, it is incredibly hard because you're taking the top percent of talent from the whole country, from the world, and playing. Like, to beat an NFL team is really hard, and a bad team relatively, I don't, we've seen diversity in that. So, like, yeah, we have an easier schedule according to the preseason stuff, but I don't think people were expecting the Giants to beat the Packers. I think I look at the Giants a little bit of how I was very pleasantly surprised with the Eagles last year. We weren't supposed to be very good, yet we made the playoffs. I don't think the Giants have enough to go very deep in the playoffs with the receiving core I look at. I'm more bullish on Daniel Jones and others, but I'm not like cheering from the rooftops. But if there's any issues there, but can they make the playoffs? Like, over all the reasons you said, John, I kind of agree. But maybe that does give fact that if one of these chinks in the armor, whether Jones starts to, I think he's won 7 of the last 8 games he's won. But if he starts to play poorly, as many people believe he sometimes can, or Barkley gets hurt even for a week or two, a lot of that momentum can go away. But I'll go back to last year, that first year new head coach. I think you'll be surprised, but I think it'll take time. But maybe, I mean, Jared won his last week. You were the lone wolf, so in picking the Giants, so maybe you're the lone wolf and being right about them being
I want
not good.
I want nothing more for the Giants to be good again. But if we're looking at these 4, the only one that's glaring as far as statisticals and as far as how they're winning with Saquon, like that's the only team that I could see is not sustainable, because it takes one bad thing. If Daniel Jones starts turning the ball over a little bit more, they lose these games. So if I can see 5 more games and he's doing exactly what he's doing now, then I would love to see them in the playoffs, and that'd be great. But let's not move too far. The team that's playing in the same stadium as the Giants, with the New York Jets, they are 4-2, and their best wins are the Packers at 3-2 and the Dolphins at 3-3. They were without Tua. The Jets, are they the truth or are they the deceiver?
They are the deceiver of this group.
Okay. Caleb?
I think they're the deceiver as well.
Unfortunately, they're a deceiver. I hate to say it, but they are.
Wow. This team is the truth, obviously, because I picked the Giants. So I won't go too much into it, but the last 3 games that Zach Wilson has started, they have the second highest points per game, and their defense is the second or top 3 in points let up in those 3 games. So just judging by that and the trajectory that they're going, I like it. They have a lot of offensive weapons. Breece Hall finally coming into his own. I think Zach Wilson's only going to get better. Sauce Gardner with his he had his first pick, I think, 2 weeks ago, and then he had another pick today against the Packers. Wearing the cheese head. They're feeling cocky. He said before, I don't know if this is true or not, I told John, but the Packers had the choice of either taking a bye after London or choosing their next opponent after London, and they chose to play the Jets after London, showing that they didn't think they were up to the task and they wanted an easy win over the Jets. And Sauce said, this is not the same Jets. This is not the Jets of old. We're a new team. We're filled with fire and a want to win, and you can see that from all the young guys. Maybe they don't make the playoffs entirely, but you can see the change as far as statistics go on offense and on defense. It's all going in the right direction, and I think they keep it going.
Yeah, I like that stat, and I like that thing about Sauce Gardner. I didn't know that the Packers got to choose their opponent, but that's really cool. I think the Jets are the deceiver because they're playing in the AFC, and they still have to play. They beat the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson. They beat the Steelers with a horrible Trubisky, and then Pickett coming in for his first snaps. Yeah, the Packers game, that was impressive. But again, the Packers were coming off of a game in London, so they might not have been all there. I just think they have to play the Bills twice. They still have to play the Patriots twice, and they have to play in Miami when Tua's back. That's the last game of the season. So I think if they won one of
Whoa,
those
whoa!
games,
They probably sweep the Patriots.
Come
I don't
on.
know about that. I'd be
The
surprised.
Patriots.
The rest of
They're
their
a different team
divisional
now.
games, I'd be surprised if they won one of them.
Wow.
The Patriots are a different team after
In
they
Miami,
lost.
and then both Bills they lost. Both Bills games they're going to lose, and then in Miami that's a loss. And then Patriots, okay, maybe they win one of them, but I'd be surprised if they won more than one. It's like one max.
Well, now Patriots have too many good quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
One
And there's drama about Mac. I think they're the deceiver for this season. I think they're like if you look at their their stat for the long, like I think they're improving. I think they're good markers exactly for the reasons you said, Jared. Like the defense is getting there, and it is, and again, it's a very impressive win to have beaten the Packers. I think I call them the deceiver because I think that's a big part of that was the dysfunction with the Packers right now. Just in general, it was one of the first days in years where I think Brady or Rodgers both lost when they were favored to win. So again, it goes back to this weird season, you know. But I give credit to the Jets for a lot. I just think it'll take another year or two before I consider them a real contender.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with everything John and Caleb said. If you look at their schedule, even I think they win like 3 to 4 games max.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fair
They'd
enough.
be lucky to get to 8 wins.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Our last team, I know we already said Jets and Giants deceiver, but we'll talk about the Vikings because they are 5-1 and they are leading the NFC North right now in first place behind or in front of the Packers, who are 3-3. Now, their best wins have been the Packers, the Dolphins. Granted, that was without Tua. And I know we all said Vikings are the truth, so we can just make it super quick. But one of the reasons I said they were the truth. Wait, do we have no one? Everyone says truth, right?
I do, but I'm not sold on them really.
Oh, we might have 2 deceivers in the group.
Maybe
2 deceiver cards passed
2
out?
deceiver cards passed out.
Oh my
Wait
goodness.
a minute. Does anyone really think that or no?
Well, I know the Eagles beat them, but I think they're a great team, you know. But I like Kirk Cousins a lot as a person. I think the Vikings are really good at consistently being on the edge of being a contender. Like every year, they're like, yeah. But then they'll lose those critical games and those critical moments.
It's
And I'm not
different.
putting it all on Kirk.
It's different this
year. We're having to say
Different.
like it's different, and I hope I wish them the best, you know. But I think they're a great team. But it's just every year we talk about them, you know.
Let me change your mind, Caleb.
They're always on the verge of making it.
Right? It
I
seems
give
like
them
they're
credit, yeah.
they're there, but they just can't ever. The luck never goes their way.
If you will.
And
one way to look at it.
let me try and change your mind.
Okay.
Last year, they had 8 games where they lost by a total of 35 points. So in those 8 games, all their losses totaled to 35 points.
I was gonna say no way they lost by.
I had to specify. So that means
okay.
the point differential for those 8 games was 4.3. 4.3, not even a touchdown. They were always
but that's the point. They can't win
exactly.
those games.
So you go to this year. They are 3-0 in games decided by 7 points or less. The tide is turning. They are making the big plays when it counts, when they weren't making them last year. In London, game-winning field goal. Against the Bears, the game-winning turnover, pick 6 or whatever. He ripped it out of his hands. They're averaging 27 points per game. It's changing, guys.
Yeah,
they learned how to win.
No, but okay, so last season they were down here, right? They were losing all these close games. Now this year, they're winning the close games, right?
Correct.
That's good. That's a step up. But the
Correct.
next step is winning these games that they're supposed to win by more than a score. They played the Bears. You can't beat the Bears by more
Does
than
it matter
a
though?
touchdown. Yeah. Like
A win's a win in this league where
you
everybody's.
can't beat the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson by more than one score.
Does it really matter though? Yeah, just getting a win against teams is hard. Bucks just lost to the freaking
the win
Falcons.
is the same regardless.
I know,
but
but-
John's coming from a point of like
You never see them actually like dominate a game, other than maybe the Packers in Week 1. But Rodgers always sucks Week 1. So like,
I mean, I'll tell you
So
one thing that
this is the year that's different. You think?
it's different because of that specifically. They've always been there, but they didn't know how to win, and now they're learning how to win. And I think that carries on because that's something when you come playoff time, all those games are going to be close, and it's going to be who knows how to win, who knows how to come up clutch, make the big plays in big time moments. They're proven to do that. 3 games decided by 7 or less.
I'll give the Vikings credit, and I'll actually believe in them if they play the Bills in 2 weeks, or in 3 weeks. If they lose by less than 7 points, then I'll respect them.
So their spread is +7.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get beat by more than one score. So if they actually keep that close and contend with the Bills in Buffalo, I'll be like, all right, this team.
I don't think they will. That Bills are way above them. Eagles, dude, the Eagles are below the Bills, and they got
No,
smacked.
they're not. The Eagles
not according
are
to
ahead.
CBS power rankings,
Yeah, CBS Power Rankings, says
which
the
is
Eagles
law
are best.
basically.
Yeah, that's for freaking terrible standings. Like, obviously, they're not the Bills. I'm not saying they're the Bills, but like they're gonna win this division.
What? I like how you're like one moment like, yeah, they're contenders, but they're gonna. I mean, obviously they're gonna lose.
Oh yeah, they're
Well.
gonna lose by more than a touchdown.
You can't
They're
be-
gonna get blown out.
You can't be like, all right, best team, they're gonna contend with them. Obviously not.
But how can you say they're gonna make the playoffs and this is the year, but then they play the best team? No, they're gonna get blown out.
Yeah, they're not. Wait, have you seen this division? It sucks. Packers, Bears, and Lions.
I'm not saying that they're gonna lose the division. I'm just saying they're not gonna contend for the Super or NFC Championship.
I mean, ever since what was the farthest they
Oh,
went?
yeah.
The farthest they went, the last time was with Case Keenum, right?
Yeah, Case Keenum.
Which is crazy. Like they and it is a fair point to the stat you're saying about them being so close. But then I compare it to, John has a point that you do have to. It's just more a pattern of how dominant you are in that. Can you impose your will? Like, are you able to play the game you want to play? And
Right.
against better teams, they're not always doing that. They can still win tough games. Like, they are a good team, but they're just always there. And I feel I compare them a little bit to the Bengals this season, where now I think the Bengals had one of the toughest schedules, but they're 3-3. A lot of those losses could have been turned over by a little, and that's part of the game. But look at the Lions too. I mean, the Lions have a pretty, they're 1-4, but they're one of the highest scoring, and those games, I think, and except for one of them, came down pretty close. So in this league, it's indicative of it can get you to that spot of contending, but are they the team that's gonna contend? Will they make it farther than? Will they make it to where Case Keenum took them? I don't. Is the defense better than it was then? I don't think so. So I wish them well. I like Kirk. Do you guys see the image of Kirk iced out with the jewelry, with the necklace and stuff? And
Yeah.
No, I didn't
I was like, okay,
Spinning that thing.
and
yeah.
that's a plus. Yeah, that's a plus. That gives me a little more.
They got that winning swagger back.
Yes,
that they-
yeah, and
that
because
they
they're
were
winning those
missing.
close games that they used to never. I mean, they still got a
Exactly.
Monday night just still a problem, right? But
Always, yeah. Never do prime time. That's the problem. Playoffs are
Yeah.
prime time, and he loses. So,
That's true. But that's my point. So I don't know what.
anything to add, Jonathan, before we get into lock and upset?
No, I mean, I completely agree with you, Jared. I think the Vikings, they're the real deal. Okay, they may have struggled against the Eagles under the lights, and that's something to note. I appreciate that, Caleb and John, but I think this is a different year. This is a different year, different offensive coordinator. Justin Jefferson, he wants to lead his team far, and I think they're gonna be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
Yep. All right, so we have a new segment for the predictions. It is called Lock and Upset, If you're an OG fan, you know that was like one of our first topics when we first started this podcast, not even on this channel. It was on a different channel, like first episode type topics. And this is what it was. It was lock and upset. Very simple. We were all going to pick one lock, basically a lock meaning that there's no way they're going to lose. Like this team is going to win 100%.
They're favored to win.
And then upset is a team that is not favored to win as far as betting goes. So they're the underdogs. You're going to take one lock and one upset. So we all choose it. Mine is going to be for the lock. I'm going to go with the Bengals over the Falcons. I'm not a Bengals fan.
Totally decked out in all orange background.
John. Oh, wait. Before we get into it, quick graphic for the standings. Graphic is showing right now as we speak. You can see the standings didn't change because everybody went 1 and 2 with the new added game, except for Jonathan. Jonathan
Wait, what?
Jonathan went 0 and 3.
Jonathan, you went 0 for 3 last week.
What?
Yeah. So.
You picked the Ravens, Cowboys,
you guys
and
are making
Chiefs.
no, you guys are messing.
Look at the Instagram.
Y'all are playing too
I
much.
actually got it on the Instagram this time. All the low
Jonathan,
wolves.
how about this? It starts now. New season start new right now.
Wait, I didn't win one game. Are y'all sure about that?
Yeah, Jonathan, you went 0 for
guys-
3. Sorry about that. But
You guys are
the
messing around too much, bro.
standings didn't really change, as you can see. So, all right, back to the thing. I said Bengals over Falcons is my lock. John, lock.
My lock is the Patriots over the Bears.
Okay. Caleb.
My lock is Bucks over the Panthers.
Okay.
My lock is the Cardinals over the Saints.
Okay. And now for the upset portion of the segment, I am taking the Commanders over the Packers. John?
Wow.
I'm going to take my Giants. They're underdogs by 3 points against the Jaguars.
Wait,
I did like-
what did you say?
My Giants, I'm taking minus. They're underdogs by 3 points.
Finally.
And I am finally rolling with the
After-
Giants. I'm sorry to all fellow Giants fans. I did doubt them last week against the Ravens, but I'm back on them. I said they're not the deceiver. They're going to be great this season. I think they're going to make the playoffs as long as they don't turn it over and, like Jared says, don't spiral downward. But I think they're going to win this game in Jacksonville.
All right, my upset is the Falcons over the Bengals.
Oh.
I want. Yep. It's a little bit of a chaos pick. A little bit of we've talked about the Bengals struggles and a little bit being a little exposed, literally with the quarterback getting hit too much. And I think there's something fun going on with the Falcons this year. So I'm just gonna, go with them this week. Yeah, it's a complete opposite opinion of Jared. Jared's gripping his chest right now in pain.
For me, I'm going to say they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. I'm picking Seattle Seahawks to beat the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, what the hell? What's up with these guys?
Getting attacked.
What did I do? What did I do today to deserve this hate?
You picked the
told
Giants last
Jonathan
week.
he was 0 for 3. That can't be right.
Oh yeah.
I didn't exactly. That can't be right. I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I saw from the Chargers this past game. They're not that. I don't know if Justin Herbert's still a little hurt with his ribs. I don't know. They're not the same team. That same scary offense. They struggled against the Broncos. Broncos have a decent defense, but still, they should have put more points on them, and they didn't do it.
Definitely
Yeah,
should.
that was like actually. I don't want to go too much. That overtime, I was like watching it. Like we know the Broncos have had issues offensively, and like it's kind of expected that there's like the way it went into overtime because of the defense, but that they got the ball first, then weren't able to score. But then I was surprised that I was like, how the Chargers aren't doing much better in overtime.
They
Like,
went to the level.
yeah, I was like, what's going on? Yeah, I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying.
But Jared, I like the Heineke pick. I really do. Commanders at home, Heineke starting. This could be a good game for the Commanders. This could be their win.
Interesting. I like our I like our upsets. I think it's gonna be a really interesting week watching these. How you feeling right now, Jared?
I think those were
Sure.
personal picks. I don't know about you, but I thought they were a little personal. So
It's okay. It's okay.
it's fine.
How about this? If the Seahawks win, Jared, you got to trade me Eckler.
I didn't pick the Chargers. That's not fair.
Oh man, you really hit a.
I didn't say I didn't agree.
We have violated Jared here with our picks.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I didn't say I didn't agree. It just felt a little like, I like the Bengals and the Chargers, and Caleb picks the Bengals, and you picked the Chargers. So I was like, whoa. I just got like, I don't know.
What's going on?
An uppercut.
Yeah, just blindsided.
It is dorm debate, so.
So that's going to be our show. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as go and follow on Instagram and on TikTok at Dorm Debate Podcast, and go follow us over on the Chalkboard. Join our groups. The link is in the description. You can go talk with us live during games and catch all of John's fantasy football announcements, any of our podcast announcements. I know we got locked out of TikTok for a day, and we couldn't post, and we posted our picks on Instagram and on Chalkboard. So make sure you guys go follow us over there and get all our announcements with no issues. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.